Hi there, my name is Aaron Short. Welcome to my YouTube channel. And today is Monday, October 25th. It will soon be Halloween. Maury, can you play a spooky chord? It will soon be Halloween.
No, I can't.
That's spooky. So today, I'm really excited because we were online last week showing this guitar, this GPC-13e, and someone said, can we compare it to the standard series? And I really wanted to do this, so thank you for the suggestion. And as you can see, I have a standard series, so I really want to compare the standard series to last week's 13 series. And I wonder which one will be the favorite. So please grab some headphones or some good speakers and a pen and paper, and let's do this this comparison with the one and only Maury Rich. How you doing, Maury?
I'm very, very well. Thank you very much again for having me. Hello to everybody out there. How are you?
I'm doing well. I see you had a gig at the weekend, and we do a band.
We got a little rainy, but it was a lot of fun. I had a really good time. A little cold for my taste, but it was a great turnout.
I had a question. So for that band gig, were you using the Bose system behind you for the vocals, and everything else was through amps? Is that right?
We had the Bose behind us for everything, including drums. And drums, vocals, guitars, and bass through the Bose behind us. And then in front, where you were in front of our gazebo stage, there was an additional 18-inch subwoofer and two little speakers on sticks just for extra coverage. But the Bose did the majority of the heavy lifting for not just vocals, but everything.
Very, very cool. Yeah, I was wondering that when I saw your post. Very, very cool. I played a wedding. I used the JBL. I'm going to make a video this week about the JBL because it's interesting. They've gone for a different kind of method. You know how on a regular PA system, you set your gain and then you bring up the channel volume and then you bring up the master volume, right? That's the normal way to do it. Well, on the JBL, the way I use it is I set the master to 10 maximum, and then I bring up the channel, and they've actually got automatic switching in there, so it switches from line to mic automatically. So it's a different kind of approach. Yeah, so some people are putting the master, I think, on like 5, and then wondering why there's no volume, or wondering why there's no volume for the first kind of 5 steps. It's just a different way of thinking. So I'm going to make that video, but I was interested in your Bose for that reason. So yeah, look out for that this week. It's, you know, you get a new piece of gear, they change how it works, and you know how it is. We've all done it. We've all bought something and then wondered if we're using it right or why something isn't working the way we used to, right? So I'll be
but that's like reverse gain staging. I would have never. Can I ask you? You know, I'll put you on the spot on your show. Did you read the manual to find that out? Because I would never try that.
This is the thing, Maury. They sent me one ahead of time to check out, and I found that very, what's the word? Very confusing. I was trying to think of a fancier word, a Spoon Phillips style word. Disorientating? I don't know. I found it very confusing because my mind isn't like that. In my mind, we set the gain to just below clipping, and then we set the master. So right. So I'm not saying you can't do it that way on this one. But I find the way to maximize the volume for me is to set the master on 10 and then just use the gain just until you've got the right, enough level. And that works great for me. Actually, in a way, I prefer it because you haven't got to worry about that extra step. It's just a different way of thinking. So that's why I thought I'd make a video on it this week. So with your Bose, though, don't worry, we're going to talk about guitars in a minute. But with your Bose, is it master and channel volume? It's the same, right? Do you select the mic or line level?
It's the Pro 32, so it's the newer version and the bigger one. It's channel 3 on the I'll make this quick, on the bass unit has a volume, and we put that volume around 12 o'clock, and then I have a digital mixer in front of it, the same mixer I'm using today, and I'll get everything at unity gain, and it seems like for the 2 outdoor gigs we did, that was enough volume, but I would have brought the master volume up channel 3 on the Bose louder if we needed it, but I've never thought to make that all the way wide open. I wonder if it wouldn't have been that much more noise, but it's another way to do it.
Yeah, you're right. Different way of doing it. But like I said, this one doesn't have mic or line. Worth knowing, if you're plugging your acoustic guitar in, these things matter as well. Like sometimes a really low output pickup, just because it says mic doesn't mean you can't use it on your guitar. Like I find the Anthem quite low in gain. So on some PAs, I've turned on that mic switch, which adds more gain, and that's fine. So, you know, bear that in mind as well. The problem is these companies are making these PAs for everything, right? They've got to work with everything, and there's not kind of one size fits all. But I do know a solution, and I'm going to make a video about it. I think a lot of people will find it helpful. All right, let's jump over to the chat and say hi to our friends. David is small today. I'm going to make you bigger, David. There we go. And now I've dragged that. Here we go. Ecamm is great. They just released a new version of the software that we used to stream, but they still have this thing where the text comes in different size every single time. To be fair, I don't think I've told them about it, so I can't really blame them. All right, David. Good afternoon, Aaron and Maury. Good to see you here, David. Rosin says, hi from rainy and cool Connecticut. I haven't been outside today, so I don't know what the weather is. Isn't that terrible? I look at my watch to see the weather, and it doesn't even tell me. But I'm guessing it's not that nice outside. Jim says, hello from a very cold and wet Vermont. I will say this, it's very cold here the last couple of days. Started wearing the jacket now, and started stressing over the guitars. Please don't crack down the middle. That's what I've been doing lately. We must address that in a future episode very soon, how to look after them. But yeah, be wary. I'd start thinking about it now, because I notice if I'm wearing a jacket outside, that means the guitars are probably not very happy either. So, David says, happy anniversary to Maury and Laurie.
Thank you very much.
They celebrated an anniversary. Feels like just yesterday, I remember you on your stream last year saying it was your anniversary. But the year has flown by.
Yesterday was my anniversary.
No, it feels like yesterday and a year ago. No, it feels like yesterday. It was yesterday and a year ago you said that.
Well, now that you put me on the spot, David, I have an embarrassing fact to share with you guys. Mondays are always busy here at Maury's Music, so I ended up doing 5 or 6 setups and a couple of pickup installations, and I left my wedding ring upstairs. I do still wear it. I just forgot to wear it on the show immediately following my anniversary, so thanks for pointing it out. Sorry.
That's all right. You've got such a mark on there. We can see that you've got it's like a virtual one anyway, so there's no problem. There you go.
You getting close on that?
Yeah, no, I'm not zooming in.
I'm such an idiot, but thank you.
The reason I don't wear mine is because I gained so much weight in the lockdown, it doesn't fit me. So that's right why I don't wear one. But I will eventually once I lose my lockdown weight. Should we talk about lockdown weight today, or should we talk about guitars?
I gained a lot of that as well, but for some reason this part of my body does not get fat, which is kind of cool. But
yeah. Or there's just no blood in that finger anymore. Circulation's been removed. Yes, I have to admit, it's good to be gigging again and walking up and down steps and, you know, getting to shows. I've been tracking the calories on my Apple Watch to see how many... This is what I think about now, Maury. When I do a gig, how many calories do I burn? You know, when my computer's running, what's the decibel of the fan noise? Like, it's crazy. What about the guitars? What happened to the guitars? Rosanna is here. Hi to everyone in the chat. Roeth in Cleveland. Colin says, evening all from a very autumnal UK. And Patsy and Bernard are watching from Suffolk. And Dr. McFarland says, fellas. He's too busy to write hi, fellas, so he just wrote fellas today. Marco said, hello, Aaron and Maury. Hey. Olds is here in upstate New York. I just thought of something, Maury. When you go to the Martin factory, you know they wear tape over their rings in case the rings damage the guitars.
Oh, is that what you do?
Yeah. So if you'd done that, maybe your guitar wouldn't look like that anymore. It would have been...
If I've done that, I wouldn't lose my wedding ring either.
You lost it, yeah. Lee says he's working again. Oh, sorry to hear that, Lee. You got to earn money to buy those guitars, I guess, right? Mark says, hi, everyone from home of Mississippi. Oh, home of Mississippi Hill Country Blues. Woke up this morning. My guitar was cracked. Jim says, how do you remember that Iris guitar that was on the live feed? I went to Iris shop last week to check them out. Do you remember that Iris guitar that was on the live feed? I don't remember the Iris guitar. Oh, it was on Eddie's YouTube channel. I went to his shop. Okay, Iris. Is that a Martin guitar? Iris? Do tell. Pooh Ninja, shiny happy moon day. Okay, things are getting weird here. Roeth says, Jim, yes, he originally had the CH, but also had the DE11. How was the shop? Do you know what they're talking about, Maury? I've got no clue.
No, I'd like to learn more, but I'm a little bit lost.
please share.
I'm interested, but I'm lost.
Jack says, hi guys, starting to rain in Maryland. And Lee said he lost his wedding ring on the honeymoon. Oh dear. And she still buys you guitars? What's the secret? Pooh Ninja, they said an average of 10 kilograms per lockdown. Yeah, it was something like the, what was it? There was a number, there was like a lockdown 30. Lockdown 30, was it?
I heard COVID-15, but I passed that.
Mine was about, I've forgotten now. Mine was 30. I lost a load of weight a few weeks ago. I went on a diet. I lost loads of weight.
Awesome.
Slowly gaining it back. I gotta be careful. I need to get back on it again. Chalerism, hello from NWGASETN. Is that a new Martin guitar model? Or is that some
Northwest Georgia, Southeast Tennessee model that I have grown to like so much.
Ah. I see. All right, good. So yeah, this is a request from someone. I can't remember who it was last week. They gave us this idea. So last week we talked about the 13E Zero Cote, and we really liked it. I think everyone liked it. So that's a great sounding guitar. Then someone said, can you compare it to the 28 version? So this is going to be really interesting because we've had them both on here. They both sounded great. But if we play them back to back, which one are we going to pick? Please pick the 28 because I bought the 28. So if you pick the 13, I'll be really upset. Okay? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Don't doctor the results. Let's be honest here today. So what we're going to do is just the same as always. Grab some headphones. Make sure you're watching the stream in 1080. No, actually 4K today, or at least 1080, because sometimes YouTube throws it onto 4, like really low quality, and it doesn't look or sound as good. So make sure you've got the high quality setting on YouTube. Make sure you've got some good headphones or something like that, or good speakers. And grab a pen and paper. That's what I do. I like to write down each guitar's results because I won't reveal the results until the end. And then we will see who gets it right. So I think we'll get started right away. I'm going to jump over here to Maury. And going to put the cover up on here. Like that. Okay. So let's just remind people how we're doing it in case we change something, Maury. So you're going to play 2 guitars, all right? And then I can't remember what we've decided now. Each time, are you going to change the order or keep the order the same? Can we do it different every time?
Well, I think the last couple of times we've kept the order the same, and I like that.
Okay, we'll keep the order the same in every example. Okay. We'll start with strumming. And then, yeah, write down in the chat what you think of the sound of these 2 guitars and which one you think is which. Remember, the 28 is more money than the 13, so we'd hope it sounds better, but we'll find out.
All right. Guitar number 1. Guitar number 2.
All right, so put in the chat there what you think. And while you're doing that, Maury, just tell us how we're doing this. Are the strings the same, etc., on the two guitars? How are we keeping this fair?
Very good question. Both guitars have reasonably new phosphor bronze 12s, same exact string. The action is within a 64th of each other. I can't say that these specific guitars have exactly the same action, but the difference is less than a 32nd of an inch. So if one is going to be at 7/64ths, I think if I remember right, one of them is at 7 and one of them is at 6. So it's not technically honest, but that's transparent. And they're both, I would say, both strings are 10 to 14 days old.
Okay, sounds good. So as close as we realistically can be. That sounds fine.
Yep.
Okay, so yeah, write in the comments what you think, and I'll read those out, and I'll give my opinion, and then we'll move on to fingerstyle after that. So David said, I gained 7 guitars during lockdown. That's a good answer. I think
cool.
that happened to a lot of people. Jim said, awesome. They share with Allied Woods, circle string guitars and Fairbank guitars. I wound up ordering a Fairbanks 00L, reclaimed 135-year-old redwood top and at least 50-year-old hog back and sides. Very nice. I don't remember this conversation though. Iris Guitars is a guitar maker in Vermont. CH&D 11 were models showcased on Eddie's Guitar YouTube live stream. Okay, I didn't see that. They're copying Maury's virtual inventory tour. Oh, but no requests in the second half. There you go, you see. The original's still the best. Next they'll do Monday Martin chat like this.
They don't dare.
Do it, but you have to do it at the same time. Come on, it's got to be the same time as we go head to head. Here's DOD. I asked how much heavier the 13 was. Oh, that's right. And I bet Maury hasn't got his scales with him.
During the break, we'll take a scale break, and I'll bring the scale back.
Okay, we'll do that today. We'll take a break. When I do viewers comment, perhaps you can go and get the scales. That'd be great. That'd be good.
It's in the same room as my ring, so that'll work out good.
Okay, good. So do the most important thing first. Weigh the guitars. Okay. So 3 lockdowns, 5 kilograms. I don't know kilograms. I only know pounds. What's 5 kilograms in pounds? Hey Siri, what's 5 kilograms in pounds?
5 kilograms is 11.02 pounds.
11 pounds. That's not bad at all. Wow. Yeah, mine was like 38, 40. 3 lockdowns.
Really?
Well, the thing with me is you can see, you just go back and watch as the weeks go by on YouTube. That's what I don't like about it.
38 pounds, though. That's noticeable.
That's what I don't like about YouTube. You can go back and watch the progression of your physical decline or whatever. Yeah. No, it's like at least 10 pounds of that was...
My hair does get darker when I go backwards in YouTube. I've seen that.
Me too. And you just took my joke. I was going to say I had at least 10 pounds of that was hair. Because my hair got long, right?
Your hair got tall.
I definitely got grey during the lockdown. That's for sure. Yes, anyway, we made it through, so that's a good thing. Robert says, Jim, that sounds great. You'll have to send the video to Aaron when it comes in. Yeah, I need more videos, people. I got a good viewers comment for today, but every week I then need more. So here we go. Say hi at aaronshortmusic.com. Send your videos, pictures, and recipes in. Eddie. Hi, Eddie. How you doing? 28 is the one with more bass, he says. So which one was that? Because you said that before Maury played them. Jim said, you betcha. Okay, number 1 is the 28. More attack in the bass. Number 2 is the 28 from Chullerism. More scoop in the mids on number 1. More balance in number 2. 2 is the 13. So we've got 2 votes for the 13 being number 2. And David says number 2 is the 28. So we're even on those. Two on each. And Leah's trying to do another viewer's comment, but I badly burned my index finger on my right hand a couple of weeks ago, taking a while to heal. Sorry to hear that. Yeah, let that heal first. Take from me, the older you get, the harder it is to lose weight. Oh, I know. I know that. That's what I'm scared about. Jack says, thanks for activating Siri here. Oh, I did? I just activated everyone's Siri. I thought it's supposed to follow your voice. I think it does on certain ones. By the way, don't forget
the A word. Should we do that?
Don't forget today's show is sponsored by soundholesniffer.com. No, actually, that's not a website. Don't go there. You might get a different sonar sniffer. Today's show is sponsored by teespring.com.
Wow. Your
Oh
commercials suck.
no, that was a bad commercial. Oh, I'm embarrassed
You
now.
gotta go Thursdays to see good commercials. That's all.
Yeah, he does a better commercial for me than I do for myself. I'm going to make one. Once I hit 10K, I'm going to have more ads on my channel. Decided.
Yeah, right.
So watch out for my ads. They're coming. I'm going commercial. Yeah, sorry, Jack. Apologies for that. Get well soon, Lee. Yes, it's terrible, isn't it? When you injure your finger or something, or even when you break a nail. Like if you got to play fingerstyle and you break a nail, it's like, how do you do it? It's nothing worse. So burning a finger is not good either. Look after those fingers. So my thoughts were: 1, sounds good, and then 2, sounds fuller, but boomy. I'm assuming I'm gonna assume that fuller and boomy is a good thing in Martin terms. So that's why I assume that might be the 28. But I actually think I preferred the sound of number 1 because I found 2 a bit too kind of boomy. So we'll see. See on the next test if I still feel the same way. So I guess Spoon isn't going to make it easy. Number 1 is 28E. Number 2 is 13. Okay, we got mixed opinions so far. So I think we'll do another one. We'll do some fingerstyle. Just got one more comment from Jim. I know how you feel. I sliced open the tip of my middle left finger last week. My family are grateful due to the lack of me playing guitar. It's not nice. All right. Let's go back over here. Let's do some fingerstyle. I'll put that Teespring link on the screen while you're playing.
Guitar number 1. Guitar number 2. And let me tune that before I take this off the screen. Okay, we're down.
Okay. Coming back over. Maury, does your band, when you play in the band, do you use tuners or not?
Do we sound that bad?
No, I'm just curious. I'm just curious.
I'm making a joke. Yes. Yeah.
You do? Okay. No, I was playing the other day and a band was setting up and I was figuring out what chords they were playing and they hadn't tuned. I'm not saying they weren't going to tune before they performed. They were setting up, but they were playing through a song and they were out of tune. And it just made me think, I've known so many musicians in the past in bands that don't tune up with a tuner.
Oh,
and it's
wow.
You know, it's one thing when you're playing solo like you are today, but when you're playing with other people, I know. I mean, people can do it, and that's fine. I can't, but they can. But I just think, I just wondered. Let me know in the chat if when you jam with people, do you use tuners to tune up, like I use the Peterson tuners, or do you just do it by ear? This market
'cause
research.
We have harmonicas and keyboards too. Like if we wouldn't be in A440, we'd hit a brick wall pretty soon.
A lot of bass players I've known over the years don't use tuners. They tune by ear. And to be fair, they can do it. I'm not saying they're out of tune. But the problem with that is, of course, you have to hear them tune like we just did when you were tuning, right? You have to hear you can't mute the signal. Obviously, we couldn't do that here because you're using the microphone. But if you're plugged in on stage and people don't want to hear the sound of the strings going up and down. Okay, Lee says you could put the Soundhole Sniffer song on as one of your commercials when you get to 10,000. I'm going to, Lee. I'm going to have some serious kind of commercials. That's the wrong word, but serious ads in my regular videos, pre-recorded videos. And then for the Monday show, I'll do some funny videos like, don't delay, get your Soundhole Sniffer mug today. No, it's like silly commercials. I got to film those. All right. Or maybe I'll get you guys to do them for me. Like Lee could be, yeah, that could be it.
See?
The viewers make the commercials, and I play them, and I choose the best one, and they win a prize. Think about that. Jim says 1 is the 28. Roslyn says 2 is the 28. Rosewood has a longer sustain. I liked it better, said Patsy Smith. To Jim, which one was that then? Number 1, okay. David Belcher says, does the GPC-28 have a deeper body depth? Good question. Are the specs the same? We didn't go over this before we started. The actual body shape are identical, right?
They are. You have to go into the 16 series to get a shallow depth, but the GPC-28e and the GPC-13e Zero Cody both share the same body shape and depth and scaling.
And the top are both Sitka. The difference really is the back and sides, right? You've got the East Indian Rosewood on the 28, and you've got the dovetail neck joint. So really, really close, but they do sound very different, I have to say. Marco says 1 is the 13, 2 is the 28. Roworth says harder to tell, but I still think 2 is the 28. David says I think 2 is the 28. I still think 1 is the 28. More clarity, more note separation, also more overtones in the trebles. Yeah, as well as telling us which one you think is which, I also want to know which one you think sounds the best, or why you think that. Because a lot of people are saying that 2 is the 28. Well, why are you saying that? Are you saying that because it sounds, like I said earlier, better? Or are you saying that because... Yeah, what's the reason? I don't know. I have no context here. So let me know why you think, which one you think is which and why. I need the whole answer. Old says 1 is the 28. If the 28 isn't the second guitar, I'll hate myself. I thought you were going to say eat your hat, but hate yourself is a bit extreme, Cholarism. Mark Henry says 1 is the 28E. Jack Wickwire says they both sound great. I think I slightly prefer the second one, but not sure yet. So again, why? What is it about the second one you prefer? Mark Henry says blame my tinnitus. Is it tinnitus or tinnitus?
In America, it's tinnitus, but I expect you'll say tinnitus.
Tinnitus. That sounds right. Tinnitus. David says I use a TC clip-on tuner and a D'Addario soundhole tuner. Very cool. Jim says I had a small win today, tuning up from drop D to standard. I nailed the E string first try. That's called.
Yeah.
When I did a concert, the last concert I did a song and I looked at the tuner on the low E and I just turned it one full turn, and that was exactly the D. That doesn't normally happen, right? Normally you can't judge it like that. That was just a coincidence, but it worked, so that was cool. By ear. Yeah, Jim, I used to tune my guitar by ear, but I find it much easier with my fingers. Jack Wick says I use an old Peterson flip tuner. Still works great. Yeah, I love the Peterson tuners. I really do. And I love this one. Because you just turn it, it's rechargeable. You just turn it on and you just tune electric or acoustic. You haven't got to plug it in or anything. It's just ready to go all the time.
That's cool. I saw that video. That looks pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a really good tuner. It's even better than I thought it would be. Old says bracing must be different also. Is the bracing different on these two?
They're both scalloped, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to say they're both exactly the same. There might be some subtle differences.
Roeth says, to my ear, I actually heard more blending of notes in number 2, so I figured I was hearing the rosewood. David says, I think number 2 sounds fuller. The older I get, the less high end I hear. Yeah, we do lose high end as we get older. Jack Wickwire says, play them in reverse order to see if that makes a difference. In reverse order. Oh, because we hear them at different times. Yeah, we'll do that at the very end. We'll finish with that. Jim says, the joke was terrible. Well, sorry, no refunds. All right. Let's do some of that Mississippi. That's M-I-S-S-I double... that's M-I-S-S-I-double-P. Let's do some of that blues playing.
B-L-U-E-S.
How do you say it? M-I-S-S-I-double-P-P-I. I? I mean, give me a break. I was raised in England. All right, here we go.
I was told there'd be no spelling here.
Yeah, I can't do it.
Guitar number 1. Guitar number 2.
So, I feel the same, I think, on every one. Can I go back to the other screen?
Yes.
I feel the same on every one of these. The first one has a nice clarity. The second one has more fullness and low end, but as a result, it's a bit muddier. So being that I usually like clarity, I like number 1 the best. But I have a feeling that number 2 is the 28, because again, I think the whole Martin thing is boomy, full-sounding tones. But it's interesting that I'm preferring the first one. What does that mean? That means I should play Taylor probably, but we'll see. Let us know in the chat. Let us know in the chat what you think. Jim says, quick drop D on classical. 9 turns down and 6 turns up. Actually, am I wrong? On the acoustic, if you just turn the tuning peg a full turn, is that one? No. Depends on the tuners, right? Because they all have different ratios, yeah?
It does depend on the tuner. Here's E.
Okay.
You're saying 1 revolution?
Just one full turn, yeah.
Did I go twice?
No. Oh, okay. I'm not. No, you went once. But of course, it depends on the tuner. But I did
On
that.
the ratio, yeah.
Yeah, I can't think of what guitar I did. It was the other week, and I did that, and it was exact. It was really cool. I thought, why can't all my guitars be like that?
This one ain't.
You left out an is. Oh, I did. M-I-S-S-I-S-S-I-P-P-I. That's it. I deserve one of these. Sticking with 1 is the 28. Okay. 2 is definitely 28. But you're not telling me why. I need to know why. Why is 2 the 28? Okay. Because I don't have any context. I think 2 is rosewood. So you think that's the 28. Could not tell a difference this time. Yeah, I find that very much closer. And I do find that sometimes with the way we play affects things a lot. Like with the strumming, it was very obvious. With the single note, it was a bit less obvious, but I could still hear it a little bit. Rowan says, I heard more boom on that E string in number 2. Okay, so again, Roeth, why you're saying you hear more boom on the E string and you're saying that's the more expensive 28. Are you saying that boom is a good thing? That's my question before we reveal anything. I want to know more details. Still think one is a 28. One is a 28. I think number one is a 28 because boomy in Martin's is clear, not muddy. Okay. We'll see. All right, what I'm going to do now is, yeah, so just do that again for me. We've done the 3 examples. We'll do one more. We're going to do viewers' comments, weigh the guitars, do one more, and we will reverse them for the last one, just to see if it does affect our ears. And then we'll do the results, and then we'll do a Q&A at the end. But do me a favor and write in there which one you think is which and the reason why. Okay? I know I always tell you just to put in which one is which, but I just realized I need to know the reason as well. I think Spoon said the other week, listen to why you like it, or what you hear and what you like about it, or what you don't like about it. So let's be more descriptive. That'd be cool. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over and do viewers' comments. So Maury, you can take a break and go grab the scale if you want to.
Okay.
And you can mute yourself and then just give me a shout when you get back. Okay. All right. So today's viewers' comment is a new guitar day, and I'm just going to throw the pictures up on the screen. So 1 second here. Should I put myself on the screen as well? Might be a bit better. Oh, there we go. Let me just change that. Zoom in. Okay. So that's better. Now I'm just a head on the screen. All right. So look, this guitar is great. I got several pictures here, and here is the first one. I want to see if you can guess what this is. So that doesn't really help, right? I'm going to start with the hard. I'm not going to make it too easy. So we've got Grover tuners, open back tuners, no wings, as you can see. So that's great. And I'll show you some more. See if you can guess in the chat what this guitar is. Let me grab another one. And then I'll reveal what it is and who sent it at the end. Here's the back of the guitar. There we go. Very nice. Oh, this one has a strap button installed, which makes me happy because I like that. I know many people do not. Let me show you another one. Here's the bridge. Bear with my computer loading these pictures in. Oh, yes. We have bridge pins. I'll ask you a question. Let's do some Q&A. Let's do a quiz. What kind of bridge pins are they? Let's see who gets it first. That looks like a nice top as well. I wonder if that's Addy or Sitka. Let me get rid of that one for a second. Let me bring another one up here. Here's the sound hole, very important. Takes my computer a while. Bear with me. There we go. Now I love this. Oh, yes. That has the abalone around the sound hole, which I love. As you know, I love that about the John Mayer guitar. And I think all Martin guitars should have that. And this person has got it on there. So this is most likely a custom shop, obviously, because it's not a John Mayer. Yep. We got it here. Who got it first? Let me see. Olds, liquid metal. That's right. And Roeth, Lux pins. That's right. Good job. Yep. Sound hole looks great. Oh, yes. Let's see. Let's see. I have no idea. I have to remind myself. This one came in last week, so I've actually forgotten what this is. I'm pretty sure it's from Maury's Music. One of his customers. Love the headstock. Yes. In fact, this is starting to look a lot like the John Mayer guitar. This is making me jealous. Look, you've got the outline around the headstock. It's not silver foil like the John Mayer, but it's an outline around the headstock, and it's the Oh, it's a different logo, but it's a nice logo with the abalone inlay, which actually looks quite fancy. So this is giving me strong vibes of the John Mayer guitar. I'm starting to get jealous here. Huh. Let's find another one here. Here's an angle. That is nice wood. That is definitely upgraded wood, isn't it? That is. I'm gonna guess this is some kind of custom with those custom pins, the custom abalone. In fact, this could be a John Mayer custom. It looks like it. That wood is definitely upgraded. That is nice. They're nice pictures too. Good job with the pictures. They're better than ones I take. All right, let's reveal it. Here it is on a chair. Put your guesses in the chat as to what this is. There it is. Aha. All right, who can tell me in the chat what body shape that is? Marco says 0028. No, it's not. Now you can see the full body. Do you know what that is? Addy top. I think it's Addy. It might be very nice Sitka, but I think it's Addy. Custom shop. It's definitely custom shop. It looks great. This is a kind of guitar I would spec out myself. Definitely. I love the inlay of the logo. I love the look of the headstock. In fact, I think it's a glossy headstock. This is very much like the John Mayer guitar, but it's not an OM shape, is it? No, that's not an OM. Look at the body of the bottom of that. It's a big bottom. That is not an OM28. What kind of body shape is that? Let's see who gets it first. This is fun. I think that's all the pictures I have. Yep. OM42. I don't think that's an OM. I do not think that is an OM. Look at the bottom of it. Am I wrong? I tell you what we'll do. We'll get Maury back on, and we'll see. We'll get him to give us the answer. I see he's back there. I've got him muted right now. Maury, I've unmuted you. We've done well so far. I don't think that's an OM body, but everyone says it is. So am I right or am I wrong?
I don't think that's an OM either.
Is this a guitar you sold somebody? I think it is, right?
I'm 99% sure it is. I'll reserve comment. I don't want to say too much until people keep guessing, but I'm pretty sure what that is and whose that is.
Okay, so don't say yet then. All right, Roeth got it. GP, that's a GP, right? That is a GP. I can see because you see the bottom is wider, and yeah, a lot of GPs have a cutaway. This one does not. I think this is great. I think whoever ordered this guitar has been watching my show, because I think this looks like the John Mayer guitar, but in a GP body.
Oh, he's in the chat.
Oh, if you're in the chat and you want to reveal this is your guitar, will you please make it known? If not, then don't, because I don't want. Sometimes people don't want to know. Don't want people to know. They want it to be anonymous. But yeah, can you see why I like this, Maury? It's got the abalone rosette around the sound hole.
Yeah.
Excuse me, I'm talking. Thank you.
Oh, sorry.
It's got the abalone rosette around the sound hole. It's got the. Is that a glossy headstock?
If it's the guitar I'm thinking about, yes, it is.
Yeah, and it's got the vintage tuners, and it's got the classic old school logo, and this is basically, if I'm not wrong, well, the top is that Addy or Sitka?
I think it's Sitka.
Yeah, I think it's Sitka, but I think it's a very nice Sitka. I think it's an upgraded. I think this is like a 10 top kind of thing, like a higher grade wood.
And I think it's VTS Sitka, but now I'm really testing my memory.
Look, the grain on that is so nice. That's why I thought it was Addy, but I don't think it is. You can see by the waves in the top there. That is actually just a very nice Sitka. I think this is an upgraded Sitka top. And yes, I think this is basically, well, it's not Engelmann. If it was a John Mayer style, it would have an Engelmann top, and it would be an OM. But it looks really much like the John Mayer model. So that's why I'm really enjoying this, and that's why I think the person was watching the show. Here we go. It's my GP40. There we go. And this is
awesome.
This is ordered from Maury's Music, right, Maury?
Yes, thank you again. Yep.
Really, really great. So yeah, do tell us the full specs, Chalerism, in the chat. Is that an upgraded top? Is the bracing standard? Give us the rundown in the chat, and I'll read it out. That'd be great. I should have asked you this. I should have asked for you to send me the spec sheet as well, and I could have just put that up. All right, cool. So let's bring the man of the hour back again. See if he's got his ring on. No, he didn't get the ring.
And I didn't get the weight. I owe you guys that after the show because I got near the scale, but I wasn't able to get to the scale and bring it down here. We have a lot of guitars coming and going.
Oh, okay.
And long story short, I really couldn't get to it without knocking a bunch of stuff over. And while we're doing this program, Andrew has some things he's doing, shipping and receiving and inventory, and it's a mess up there, so I'm sorry.
So do me a favor then. Just grab those two guitars and tell me which one is heavier.
All right. And I will weigh them properly after the show and put them in the comments. So.
Hear that, everybody? We'll check in next week for the final part. Brilliant conclusion. Did Maury weigh the guitars? Don't say they're the same. Come on. I want to know which one's heavier. We don't sit on fences here.
I think the 28's slightly heavier.
Okay. Yeah, please do weigh them. We'll put it in the description later. Because I actually do find this stuff interesting. I find it more interesting with electric guitars. Like the Strat really amazes me. How some Strats are £7 and some are like 8.5. That's quite a difference.
Oh, yeah.
So I find it really interesting, this stuff. And then the acoustics, not quite as much. But yes, I mean, I guess if you're shopping for one of these two, I don't think the weight should be the deciding factor. I think the tones here are very different and you should choose based on the tone. But to some people, it's important. You know, the reason I wanted the GP is because I have a HDC and I wanted something lighter. I guess I should really weigh them. Maybe the HDC is lighter than the GP.
See?
I'll get my scales out later too. All right, so let's read through what people said about the two sounds. Charlerism said the pick guard was throwing everybody off. That's true.
The teardrop. That
is a gorgeous guitar. I really like that. That passes the Aaron Short approval process for sure. That's VTS Sitka. There we go. This is very nice Sitka. It must be upgraded, I bet. Well, and then again, it's a 40 series, so it would be upgraded, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
By definition. But I wonder if he further upgraded it. Let me know in the chat. I was so close to grabbing a GP-28 from Maury's Music a couple of years ago. No Cutaway. I'm really mad at myself for not pulling the trigger on it. Well, Justin, the lesson you learned is next time, press that buy button. GP-28. So what's that? I wonder if that was a standard series. I wonder if that was a standard or a custom you had at the time.
That could have been a regular 28 that didn't have a cutaway or a pickup.
They didn't, but have Martin ever made a GP-28 with no pickup?
Oh yeah, I think so.
They have? Oh, interesting. I'm so used to seeing a GPC. I'm just not used to seeing the GP without the cutaway. Yeah, actually, Cholorism, that guitar with a cutaway is probably exactly the guitar I would spec out myself. Very cool. 1/4-inch forward shifted scallop bracing. Is that the same as the Mayer? I don't know. I should know this stuff.
That's really light. That's why that guitar's got
resonant.
Yes.
You say that, but not being negative. But I've said this story before where someone ordered a guitar and did everything like that. Everything they thought would make it as resonant as possible, and they didn't like the guitar. I think with that kind of stuff, I never ordered the custom, but I'm guessing that when you order a custom, you want to do like one or two things that will make the guitar resonant, and not everything that on paper might make a guitar resonant, right? And I think Martin would probably advise you that anyway. I've heard, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, or maybe that guitar he ordered was great. He just didn't like it. I don't know. I never asked him again. How are the Lux pins sounding? That's what I mean. Like they definitely, when I tried those out for you, Maury, I definitely added more volume. So then I start to wonder, is there such a thing as too much volume? Did you see my review of these yesterday? The earplugs?
I just watched it this morning. It was pretty cool. Yeah.
So, the company said, or the guy that's representing the company said he wears that when he practices acoustic guitar. I said, what? He said, yeah, that when you're playing acoustic, it can get loud for hours, it can get loud in the ear. I thought you're right. There's me always looking for the loudest guitar possible, but if we get a guitar that's like 95 dB, and let's say the pins add another 3 dB, and thicker strings add another dB. Then you've got a guitar in your ear that's 100 dB. That's really loud. So
I was really taken back when you said that in the video, where you have if you take the measurement of the sound by your ear when you're playing acoustic guitar, it could approach 100 dB. That's crazy to me.
Yeah, and of course, in the past, I've wanted that. I've been doing that. I want louder guitar. That's why I'm bringing this up. I want to make my guitar as loud as possible. But then I'm saying, is that a good thing or is that a bad thing? So that's a question. Now think about a violinist. Think the instrument's right here, right?
Sure.
You don't think about this stuff, do you? I bet that's louder than the guitar, and it's closer to their ear. This one actually has a feedback buster in it. You can't see it right now. There's a feedback buster in there, and that's cool because that lowers the volume. I find this stuff all very interesting. I'm actually running this right now to check out the level of the fans on the computer. See, it's 40.
Yeah.
It's 40, and when the fans are off, it's 32. So the fans are adding 8 dB to the background noise right now.
Do you have a noise gate? Because I can't even hear them.
I do have a noise gate. I will quickly turn off the noise gate just so the viewers can hear what I mean by that. Here is with the noise gate turned off. Listen carefully.
Sounds like my room.
And on. But I was actually thinking today, I'm gonna try upgrading to the new MacBook Pro, right? Which should be completely silent. I thought, I can turn the noise gates off. Well, I can't, because when you turn the noise gate off, you also hear the breathing and the clicking of the mouse and everything else. So the noise gate is still useful to have, even if you have a completely silent room.
So you're not going to go for the new computer then, huh?
No, I am. I am, because this iMac is finally starting to die. Like last week, it was definitely... This is smoother than last week. It was stuttering, and I get the beach ball a lot. So I'm going to finally upgrade. I tried twice from the 2015 to upgrade to new Macs, and they were the same fan noise, and they weren't any faster. But I think this new MacBook Pro with an additional display will be good to have the two screens, and I think it will finally be an actual upgrade. You know, I think it will finally have no beach ball, have no fan. That's the plan anyway. So we'll see.
Nice.
We'll see if it works. Finally, see if Aaron finally upgrades. If it finally works out for me. Because I'm fussy, but I'm not going to buy another computer that isn't any different to the one I already had. That seems silly to me. Because these Apple computers are great. This iMac, late 2015 iMac, is still... We're doing a 4K stream right now. It's still, I did the video yesterday. It's still working great. It's just, I want it to be I want it just to fly. Like when we go live and I post a link on Facebook, everything freezes. And I have to sit there, wait. It's stressful. When it freezes, I worry, I think, is it going to crash?
Yeah.
Maybe it's not, but it's still like freezing and hanging. And I just want everything just to fly through like butter, so. I'll update you on that journey next week. Beautiful guitar.
I've been trying to get rid of a 2009 iMac, and I'm using it for the audio portion of my streams, and it's funny, it just won't go away.
2009. Yeah, people say Apple stuff is expensive, but it does last. This iMac has been incredible. Absolutely incredible. It's still a great machine. And,
sponsored by Apple.
If anyone's looking to buy a used iMac, send me an email. Chris said... flame maple binding on the body. That's nice. Neck and headstock. Okay. As well as the end piece and heel cap. Yeah, that binding around the headstock is what reminded me of the Mayer. I just wonder if you ordered that after watching the John Mayer episodes, Cholarism. That's a serious question. I have talked a lot about that guitar. Joseph Stewart says hi from New South Wales, Australia. Good to see you, Joseph. That's great. Old says Maury can hold both for rest of show and see which one he can hold up longer. Well, we could just get some scales on the show, couldn't we?
No. Later. I'm a very strong person, though.
Rosin says the binding is so much nicer than Ivoroid. I actually didn't notice the binding, but that is nice.
In person, you do.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure. Justin says, I believe it was the 2018 GP-28e. Ah, okay. Yeah, great guitars. I'm disappointed that they're not making those right now. I hope they come back with a vengeance in 2022. Old says, sorry, that's the lighter one. What? Here we go. I got the idea for lighter bracing from Maury's custom J28 and the HD35 OM bracing. Okay. What I'd love is a video of that guitar. I'd love to hear it.
We have one.
Oh, you do? On Maury's
Back
music
on our
YouTube?
channel.
Oh, okay, I'll watch
a
that
couple weeks
later.
ago, we compared that to, I think we compared that to the Jumbo from our inventory, and something else. Yeah, not going back more than 10 videos. I think it's still there.
I always liked that Jumbo custom. I don't understand why no one's bought it. Why is that?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's a very, like I said, it's loud, it's powerful. I thought that's what people wanted, like a big sounding guitar.
That's what I want.
Yeah, well, I guess I want that, but in a smaller body. But I've always liked that guitar. Old says, I'll be interested to know if all your software works with non-Intel chip. Yeah, that's the biggest problem. Actually, I was going to upgrade today to Monterey, and I stopped myself because I thought if I get the new one and I've got to take projects across and the plugins aren't compatible, I'll get in all kinds of trouble. So I've updated everything that was released today on Apple, but I didn't update the iMac that I'm using here, just in case some audio plugins, like I use Melodyne, stuff like that, they may not have updated yet. So that could be an obstacle, which is frustrating because the M1's been out for a year now. So you'd like to think that they would have updated all the software, but a lot of companies haven't. How long did you wait for the custom, says Roslyn. And I got the idea from trying to combine the J40 with an OM28 Modern Deluxe. Interesting. So that's what that is. So what happens, Maury, if someone's watching today and they think, I like his guitar, I want the same one? Can they call you up and say, I want to order one of them again?
Technically, yeah. I don't think it's ever happened, but you can get the idea from another custom, whether it's on a live stream or in a store. And there's nothing at Martin that says they won't do that one again. I think you sort of want to see two different people take maybe a slightly different way to get to the same approach, and maybe find some kind of spec that makes yours unique from Cholorism's. But technically speaking, you could certainly say that was the best guitar I've ever seen. Make one for me, and we could. Like there are times we almost did that with a J17. We did a Jumbo 17 for a customer. And it was amazing. And I said to Lori, we need to order 4 or 5 more of them. And we just discussed and decided and never got around to doing it. But I've thought of doing the same idea, so I have to admit it's not out of the question. Yeah,
I take that back. I wouldn't like it if I ordered the custom and someone else ordered one, because I want the custom to be unique. But I guess my point really was... Oh, thank you. Mark Henry bought me a coffee on buymeacoffee.com. I appreciate it. Thanks, Mark. Cheers.
Cool.
I'll put that towards the M1 MacBook Pro. Great. That'll pay for one chip. No, what was I saying? I completely blanked out. What was I just saying?
Getting somebody's guitar and making it your own, too.
Yes.
Yeah.
I wouldn't like it because I want to feel like it's the only one. Well, of course, it may not be, but I wouldn't like it. I was just thinking, like, maybe someone wants to base another custom on that. Like, I want that, but with a cutaway in Sunburst. Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. What do you think, Cholorism? If someone ordered that same model, would you take that as a compliment that they wanted the same thing you'd ordered, or would you be upset that not upset? That's not the wrong word, but would you be, upset that they ordered the same guitar spec as you? It's a good question.
I follow what you're saying. It might be like, I want a very unique instrument. Now it's not the only one. That's a good question.
Well, what if hundreds of people ordered them? And then Martin said, why is everyone ordering this guitar? We should make it a standard model.
Well, I don't want to say too much, but when we did our 0028 Maury's Music, the 0028 VS version of it, not 2 years after that came out, and that was only 20 guitars, then the Martin brought back the 0028 VS to production.
Wow.
And we're like,
There you go.
And, of course, this little footprint that we aren't the reason, but I bet you they saw 20 orders come through and 20 happy customers. And if there's ever a sales meeting there where they're on the fence about one last model, what do you guys think? If it comes down to that idea or something no one bought, it probably has some weight.
You know what you should have done? You should have called up Chris Martin and said, I expect $1 for every guitar sold.
And he would quickly say, Be gone.
Rowan says, you're really keeping us in suspense. I want to know which guitar is which. In other words, get on with it.
I forgot what we were doing.
No, I like to, you know, I don't want to, it's like a movie. I don't want to give the ending away after the first 5 minutes. Everyone's going to turn off. Everyone's going to watch the other channels. I wouldn't be upset, but I would think they would change something. Yeah, like I said, there's kind of two ways to look at that. Either I made great choices and everyone loved it and they want it. I feel good about that. Like they all want my guitar. And on the other side of that, well, everyone's got the same guitar as me. I still want one with Aaron Short music on the neck. Right down, and like the John Mayer. I think, again, because John Mayer did it, I don't want it now. But if I'd thought about doing that before he had one made, I would have done that. Yeah. Like the old 50s, you know, cowboy singers, you know. All right. Is
there room to do Mississippi, or would you not want to have the misspelling happen?
They probably spell it wrong. They probably spell my name wrong anyway. Can you imagine that? The custom shop.
Aaron Strat.
Oh, I'd love it. I'd love it just for the story. I'm like, this one's free, right? I'm not paying for that. Well, actually, it's still a Martin. You still got to pay full price. What? Okay. Yeah. All right. Let me go back here. So what we're going to do this time, just to be absolutely clear, is we are going to reverse them now. Okay. So these will now be in reverse. So the first three were the same order, and this one will now be in reverse, just so our ears hear them in that reverse order.
We're going to call this the Jack Wickwire technique. Thank you, Jack. And what should I play?
You should play October and dedicate it to your wife. No, that's not how you do it.
I mean, what other idiot would forget their wedding ring
on the day that everyone's saying congratulations on your anniversary? That's the worst time you could have ever done it. Yep. Oh well.
That's me. All right, we're going to reverse the order. Just remembered that. On number 2. Turn number 1. All right, I actually preferred. So that time I actually preferred the second one, and on the others, when we didn't reverse it, I preferred the first one. So that may have thrown me off there. So I'm going to ask you now to do that again with strumming in that same reversed order. Okay.
We're really going to confuse people, but apologies. So we're still in reversal from the first half of the show.
Correct. Number 2. Guitar number 1.
That was good. So you still said the numbers, the correct numbers, even though we reversed it. That's cool. Yeah. So maybe in the future we shouldn't do the same order. Maybe we should mix up the order, because I think once we have a definitive decision, then that's good to mix them up. Yeah. Okay. All right. Can I switch back?
Yes.
So that was really interesting, because I honestly preferred the other way around that time. So now I'm wondering, when I hear that first sound and then hear the other sound, is my brain kind of using that information to decide which one I prefer?
Yes.
I still felt the same way about the sounds. That's why I said in the chat, describe the sounds like Spoon told us to. So I still found that the number 2 had what I was saying, like a fuller kind of boomier sound over number 1. But hearing number 2 first and then hearing number 1, I still like number 1, but I felt like number 1 didn't sound. I was trying to think of the word just then. The first word that came to me was like expensive, like not such a quality instrument. So really, really interesting. I still felt the same way about the tones I was hearing, but I perceived them in a different way based on the order that I heard them.
So the order mattered to how you decided what you think?
The order mattered, but I still heard the same qualities I'd heard before, but I guess I would do, because my brain had already made up that decision, right? The number 1 sounds more clear, and number 2, I had that in my mind already. I'm just wondering now how much of this is preconceived ideas.
I got you. You're thinking on the 4th test, you're going to like the second one better because you liked the second one better before, and then mix them. I see. All right.
Yeah. And same with the chat. Like if I say after the first example, number 1 sounds much better, people watching at home, does that have some influence over their thoughts? If they're sitting there thinking, which one did I prefer, and they hear me say, number 1 sounds much fuller, does that influence them? And this is like psychology now. And I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just putting it out there. I'm putting it out there because that time, like I said, I would have picked number 2 as my preference. I'm not saying my whole thoughts on the tones changed, but I just preferred number 2 overall. But the first time round, I preferred number 1 overall. I don't really know. I'm just talking out loud. I don't really know what I'm talking about.
I'm not going to appreciate that.
And then in the chat, I want to know why people would pick either one, and again, the reason why. Because I want to know, like, do people like the guitar with the boomier sound? Is that what they're looking for in a guitar? Because I find this stuff really interesting. You know, like even Cholorism. Why did you want a GP and not an OM or an M? Like, what's the what are we looking for in the tones?
Yeah. So. But of the people in the chat that might be shopping for a GPC sometime, what are you looking for in that decision?
Yeah. I always think they're looking for, obviously, the Cutaway, because they want a solo. And I don't solo much, but I do find the Cutaway really useful for a solo gig, because you can get up there and do some, like if you're looping or something, it gives you access up there. When you loop, you don't want to loop in the same register. You want to loop the open chords and then play higher notes over it, so you have the contrast. You don't want to loop the open chords and then loop the solo on that same register, because it gets lost in the mix, right? It's like when you mix a band, you have the bass guitar down here, and you have the electric guitar up here. You separate the frequencies. It's the same thing. So I like the Cutaway, and I always think people go for the GPC because it is kind of in the middle. It's not an OM, it's not a dread. It's almost, I want to say, compromise. And I think that's also the reason a lot of people don't buy them, because they want the classic OM and or dreadnought. They want those two, and I think that's a great way to go too.
it's really modern too. I think it's Martin's attempt
Yeah.
at getting some of the audience that doesn't want your grandpop's, old country and western thing,
Yeah. And yet, still looks very traditional, I think. Even though it's got a pickup in there and a cutaway. Still, I don't know.
Yeah, but if you, the people who grew up on Martin guitars years and years and years ago, and then they, dreadnoughts and OMs are just like the old style is I think, I think people who might have gone to Taylor because they want something modern, now they don't have to leave Martin to get that look.
I think that was really good. We had Chalarism's guitar today because that was a GP and everyone said it was an OM. So that's what I'm saying. Like, it doesn't look.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's the cutaway that does it. A cutaway on an OM is too much for a lot of people, right? That's a really
good point. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the. I'm really glad that was on this week's show. It's the cutaway that a lot of people don't like because it's not traditional. And I think it's really tough because it's so functional, especially for electric guitarists. I think the cutaway is great. At the same time, it makes it look very non-traditional. I'm just looking at it behind me. It looks very non-traditional. Some people like that, and some people don't like that. Some people want it to be symmetrical. So, but I know you play electric guitar, and you've got a non-cutaway. So,
yeah. So what do I know?
either it's not a problem for you, or you just don't take solos.
Well, I'm in a band where the other guy plays so many solos. If I don't do that many, no one's gonna miss it. And
Right.
Just not being picking on my own style, but I'm not needed to do that in my band. And it's we played yesterday. I had my Strat and this, and I played this almost the whole time because a lot of songs that need a Strat, but a lot of songs that don't can be played either way. And I just ended up playing a lot of rhythm guitar yesterday is what I'm trying to say.
That must be a real drag that you took your Mesa amp there and then played acoustic the whole gig.
It's funny. Let's be honest, we played 3 hours. I probably played 10 songs on the Strat. And the ones I played, I would have really been unhappy if I wasn't able to, but I didn't play it a lot, yeah.
Would you have just played acoustic then going forward, or is that important to you to play the Strat on some songs?
This is more of your bandmates kind of question. If I would only bring this, I would get so much slack for. That would be the day that Tim wants to really do a lot of Allman Brothers and Clapton, and let's trade off and do things that really make the band suffer for not having that twin guitar sound. So I would bring it, but
I like that you're like that. I like that you don't compromise. A lot of people now are looking for the smallest setup they can take, and I like that you want to take everything and have it there if you need it. And also, Eric Clapton.
We only played 4 times this year, so I didn't want to waste.
Exactly. Well, that too, yeah. And Clapton doesn't have a cutaway. Check out the rig rundown they just did with Clapton. It's hilarious because he's just got.
I just saw that.
An amp, a wah, and a guitar, and he's got an acoustic with no pickup. They use microphones. I told you that. I went to see him a couple of years ago at MSG, Madison Square Garden, and he did an acoustic set, fully acoustic. Yeah, and it worked.
Plugged in.
No, I saw that. Yep, he was doing that 2 years ago, and it worked. It's fine. He's not going to get a load of volume on stage, but if he's happy to not really hear much and just hear a bit of guitar, that works fine. Yep, It sounded great out the front. Really did. That was very refreshing. That's where I'm getting at these days. I just want to plug in and play. I don't want to be thinking about this stuff. Roslyn says, "Put your name on the fretboard." I think I'll do it one day. I'm going to do it one day. When I eventually order my custom, it's going to have my name on the fretboard. But it's got to be the right one because I can't resell it. Can you imagine trying to resell a guitar with your name on the fretboard? Oh dear. Jim says he'd be flattered if they copied the custom he made. Colin says, will a customer ever know that someone else ordered the same one? Well, you would if you ordered from Maury's Music, if he featured it on his show, of course. But I guess he'd ask you first. He'd ask you first. Sound-wise, it sounds exactly what I thought it would sound, like an OM28 Modern Deluxe with bigger bass. Okay. But you didn't do any other Modern Deluxe features. Obviously, you didn't do the different truss rod and you can't do those features on a custom yet, right, Maury?
The bridge plate, fret wire. Is that carbon fiber bridge plate? No, I don't think that's allowed.
What are the frets on Chalarisms? Are they Evo?
No, that's what I mean. I think they're typical nickel, or not nickel. they're standard fret wire
Standard fret wire.
From the J40.
I want stainless steel frets on all my guitars.
I know.
Which you have, which isn't fair. Maury has it on all his guitars. He just doesn't talk about it.
On all my guitars, like on this one.
Your Strat, right?
I don't even know what's on my. I don't know if it's on my Strat. Is it?
It doesn't know what frets.
That was a gift.
Oh dear. Warren's here. Been a long time. Good to see you, buddy.
That's 10 years old now. Hey, Warren.
Jim says, Aaron, just got a weather alert. New York City under high winds and possible flooding. What? Okay, I'm out of here. I'm gone. I'm not having another car get flooded. We just replaced our car under insurance. I'm thinking they won't replace it again under insurance. So thank you for letting me know. I like the way the phone now gives me notifications saying what the weather's going to be. That's really useful. But I hadn't seen that. Let me just I'm going to check that in all seriousness. The problem that happened last time is we parked it on a slope and the rain gathered there. You just have to make sure you find higher ground, obviously. It's saying here, oh, you're right, Jim. Thank you for the heads up. It's going to rain all night into tomorrow all day. So, we're not going to park that car in the same place as last time. And I bet the building's...
We're not going to finish the stream.
No, I bet the building's still... They downstairs here in this building, they literally stripped out everything. The floors, the walls, the lobby. It's all gone. They've dried it out. I bet they're stressed out now, because if it floods again, it's going to go right into the foundations of the building. This is just nuts.
Wow.
It's just one thing after another, isn't it? Crazy. Yeah, thanks for the heads up. I'm being serious as well. Like this stuff is important, and we talked about it during the lockdown, maybe trying to move somewhere with a basement. Can you imagine if this studio of mine had been put into a basement of a house? I would have lost everything. So, thanks for the heads up. I'll definitely bear that in mind later. Crazy. Mark Henry, number 1 is a 28. I can hear the sunburst top. Okay.
Okay.
2 is a 28. Okay, yeah, get your answers in. We're going to start to wrap up soon. We're going to reveal the answer. So tell me which one is which and why you think that. That's hard to tell, says Roeth. This time around, number 1 is a 28. But the thing is, Maury did tell us which was which with the numbers. So you're saying number 1 was a 28, but number 1 was actually number 2, right? So remember that. This is getting confusing now. I think David means the first one you played, which was number 2, was a 28. Okay.
That's what you need to know, because is it the first one or is it the number?
Well, that's fine. People watching know. 2 is a 28. Yeah, remember the numbers are the same, even though we just reversed them. 1 has always been 1 and 2 has been 2 when Maurice said the numbers. He didn't change that. 2 is a 28. Lush, rich, low end. Okay, see that's what I'm saying. I describe that guitar as boomy. Chalerism is saying it's lush and rich. Now, another good question is boomy a negative word? When I say that, I kind of almost think it's kind of negative, but I don't think it is. I think people say boomy as a positive with, like dreadnoughts, don't they? A boomy dreadnought.
I think people, when they say boomy, they mean too much.
Okay. But then some people like too much. I've definitely seen that used as a positive thing, Guitar number 2 is a 28. Again, David, why? Eddie, I'm cheating by sitting with my 28 and it sounds like number 2. That's interesting. Robert says, yikes, now I don't know. 2 is the 28. 2, old number 1, is still the 28. So now I'm getting confused. Yeah, clearer, more precise. So we got... I think that's a difference of opinion. Lee says, I think 1 is a 28, probably because I preferred the sound. There we go. So because he preferred the sound of it, he's thinking that's the more expensive instrument. And that's really what I was alluding to with needing to know the reason why. Clayton is here, and he says, I don't know which is which. I'm just kidding, Clayton. How you doing, Aaron? Aaron and Murphy. Murphy. Oh, Murphy's Music. Murphy's Music. Just opened in Clodagh, Pennsylvania.
That ties back to our good friend Chris Davis, where
he's in the building.
I get so many people calling me. Even today, somebody said, "Is this Murray's Music?" And I said, "Yes." Hey, Murray, I wanted to email you something. Is the address Murray at Murray's Music? Right after we said, yes, this is Murray's Music. So that's why Chris always just calls me Murphy. Don't even try. So it's not as bad as Aaron Schrott, but it's bad.
I hate that. Aaron Schrott. The worst would be Aaron Schrott. That would be horrible. I still think number one is the 28. Now the second one. More separation. Clearer basses and trebles. Scooped in the middle. Sounds more Martini Rosewood to me. Number two, more balance, less defined. Clayton is laughing. David says, good afternoon, Clayton. Rosalind says, I like the boomier sound. See, I can't click on that. That was a hang up there. Okay, so that's why you upgrade your computer, just so it doesn't hang when you put a comment on the screen. Oh. I like the boomier sound, but also I'm just saying that out loud, so if it does that on the new one, it's going to go back to Apple. I like the boomier sound, but also the sustain is important. Okay. As a stage guitar for all purposes, I would prefer number two for its balance, but number one sounds better. Ooh. That's a great point. You know, when we talk about the different sounds, I think Spoon said, you know, when you say it's more balanced, what do you mean? What is balance to you? That's a great question. Vic G says, I like the extra depth of the GPC over the triple O and OM, but yet it's not as deep as a Dread, which gives me shoulder issues. Yes, I agree. That's why I like the GPC too. Although they do, you know, because I have a GPC and an HTC, there is a noticeable difference, even in the plugged-in tone. But I really agree that the GPC is so comfortable, and that's why I really like it. I also understand why people, you know, prefer the OMs and the HD28s. I get it. I think I always say if you're plugging in a lot, then it's a bit like having a pickup in the guitar, Maury. People say, which pickup should I get? If they tell me they never plug in, I say don't get one. If you plug it in every week, then get a pickup. If you play every night, get a light guitar and a pickup. Why make life difficult? That's kind of where I'm at these days. Clayton says, I thought I wanted a GPC several years ago because a Dread feels too big to handle being a smaller guy. But I wanted the next size down to still get the strong low end. Interesting. So he has an OM.
Yep.
Yeah. Vic G says, if the GPC-13e Rosewood was normal depth, I would have bought one right off the bat. Me too. I remember I was at NAMM when they released that, and I thought they've done it. They've released a standard series guitar with no gloss for a much cheaper price. I thought this is going to sell like hotcakes. Then I realized it had the thinner body, and I didn't like it. Now I think I'm contradicting myself because I think that thinner body would be really super comfortable on stage, but I just like the sound of the full depth body myself. So finally, someone noticed that I got a haircut this week. Thank you, Dr. McFarland. That took a while.
I got some bad news. I need one really bad, but it just got moved from Wednesday to next week.
Oh.
So it's going to get ugly.
Chalerism. Someone asked earlier, it took about 11 months for the custom. 11 months? I guess it's usually 8, right? But I guess 11's not too bad, considering everything right there.
10 to 12 these days.
Oh, it is? Okay, good to know. Jim says, saving your car, I should get a free Soundhole Sniffer mug. Thanks, Jim. I was going to send you this one, but I'll be using this to shovel the water from the car later.
Aww.
So I can't send it to you. Sorry, buddy. Number 2 is the 28. Number 1 is the 13. Okay. But why? Why? Jim, the Fairbanks that I ordered will take 12 to 18 months. And again, Dale Fairbanks is a one-man show. Well, there you go. Yeah, of course.
Wow.
When it's a one-person shop, this can take longer and be more expensive, I'm sure. It has to be. 2 smells like a 28. I bet the 28 smells better. BMO agreed. Aaron is 6. Oh, Aaron is 6'5". Yes, I did think about that when we met at the Summer NAMM show, Maury. I suddenly realized when we look on here, we look the same height, but I am very tall, am I not? So, in fact, a Dreadnought shouldn't be a problem for me. I guess a GPC to me probably feels like an OM to Clayton then. How tall is Clayton?
He's taller than me, but I don't know. We don't know each other that well. We're never in the same room either. I don't know how tall he is.
Well, I never think about this stuff. I am 6'5", and I have to remember this when I review a guitar on my channel. I have to think about these things because someone looking to buy something, they don't know, especially on the camera, they don't know that I'm 6'5". So I might say this is really comfortable, and they get the wrong impression. So I have to consider these things.
You should have a measuring stick like icon on the side of your screen so people just know.
Well, like
I know that doesn't
scale,
make sense, but
a scale.
you know.
More balance means to me that bass, mids, and trebles are closer to each other in volume. Yeah, me too. Number one is loud or more aggressive in bass, and trebles, mids are not as loud. So what do I think? I had the same opinion on them all the first time round. I said that 1 sounds good, and then 2 sounded fuller and boomier, which I presume people would prefer, because I always think that's why they want those dovetail necks and things like that. They want that big boomy Martin sound. But I also really enjoyed that, what I called more balanced sound of the first one. But then when Maury reversed them, I felt like that wasn't balanced anymore, and it just didn't sound quite as it didn't have that high-end guitar sound. So I'm really sure that 2 is the GPC-28. But I'll just say this: I have a GPC-28, and I don't get that feeling when I play that one. So I don't know why that is. That could be, maybe that is a result of listening over YouTube, or maybe it's a result of hearing 2 guitars back to back. I always think that with gear, when you listen back to back, because you're not just hearing one thing anymore. You're going between 2 things. So I don't know.
Maybe the 28 only sounds like that right after a 13, and vice versa.
Exactly. And if we played the 28 after playing a D35, we might then say the D35 sounds too boomy compared to the 28.
Yeah.
I really think that's a problem. I've said this before. I've spent many hours comparing guitars, and it can drive you crazy, because you end up liking one thing about one and another thing. Because one day you might think that let's say I'm right, and the first one is the 13. One day you might play a song open tuning and love that sound and think, this is it, I found the one, right? And the next day you might play Here Comes the Sun with the capo, and you're playing the 28, and you think, that's it, that's the tone, that's the one. And you realize that there's things you like about each, and you'll never find a guitar which is 100% perfect every day. So someone in the chat will probably disagree with me, and I hope you do. That means you've got a great guitar, or you're just not being as analytical as I am. But you have to bear that in mind, I think, with guitars. They're all different. But yeah, I'm kind of surprised. Overall, my gut feeling is I did prefer guitar number 1. I think number 2 is the 28, but I also think that I have a 28, and it doesn't give me that same feeling. So anyway, let's reveal it and see what the answer is. Here comes the drum roll. Guitar number 1 was Maury's OM28. No. Oh, okay, 13, right? Yes, because the 28 is a
GPC-13e Zeracody was number 1.
Let's show the pictures. I completely forgot to show the pictures today. So this is it. And this is available to purchase. And the fact that a lot of us preferred this to the 28, and the fact that the back is incredible on this guitar, and the fact that it's substantially cheaper, maybe someone's interested in purchasing one of these guitars. And that is in stock right now. And in fact, that very guitar is in stock. No, I do not work for Maury's Music, but that's a great guitar. It is in stock. And if you're looking, I'm just thinking, like, the fact everyone loved that guitar last week and this week, I think you know, it wouldn't be a bad decision. Let's check out the other one. Well, I'm just being honest. Here's the other one. Now, I love that. I love the sunburst. The back, again, the back is great. It's the different back, though. That's the East Indian rosewood back and sides. So your more traditional thing. Okay, one thing we didn't cover is the pickup. I know that I would prefer personally the Anthem to the pickup that's in the 13 myself. That's my thing. I've said before, you could put an Anthem or a different pickup in the other guitar. That can be done, but you'd have to factor that into the cost as well. Yeah, I don't know. This is really throwing me, Maury. Weeks like this really throw me, because I'm a bit of a snob. I like the 28 series. I like the what we call conventional specs of the 28 series. I think I would still personally go for that. I like the Anthem as well. It's not perfect, but it's really good. And I think the 13 is not something that would normally be on my radar, but I'm quite blown away. I'm glad we did these 2 weeks back to back, because the fact that people really seemed to like the guitar last week, and then this week, I think just over 50% chose this one. Let me know in the chat if I'm wrong, but I think a lot of people preferred this guitar, at least on this stream. I think that just shows how impressive that is, and that is a 13 series instrument, right?
Yeah, and it goes to say that the scale length and the bracing and the fact that it's a Martin guitar, it's a solid spruce top with scallop bracing, that's got enough to do with it that regardless of the back and sides that are coloring the sound, there's more going on here that's similar than different. It isn't like we compared Ziricody in a double O and Rosewood in a big dreadnought. These do have a lot of similarities by design, and I'm not really surprised if somebody likes both of them to some extent. I'm curious, and I never think to ask this when there's time for everybody to get in the chat and really give us a nice long answer. How close or how far apart were these in your decision? Was it night and day different, or were they reasonably, close in tone?
I love the back on that Ziricody. I prefer the tune. I know I'm looking at the tuners right now. I prefer the tuners on the standard series. I prefer the Anthem. But if I was shopping today, the fact that I liked, if let's say I watched today's show back again and I chose number 1 every time, and I love the look of the back of that, the fact that it's more affordable, I would totally go for that. I'm sure it's really cool. Yeah, it's been an interesting couple of weeks to see those two. I'm really glad we did this. It's really, it just sometimes we think, well, I like standard series. I won't be interested. Sometimes I see 13 and I get a bit snobbish and think, oh, I won't like that.
Yeah.
And then you do this and it makes you question everything again. Oh,
and there's no
man.
tricks. They're just both good guitars, and I'll say that all the time.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's people watching today that chose number 2 and straight away said, no, number 2 has got that fuller sound. I want that one. I'm sure.
Right.
So I'm just giving my opinions, and if I played them back to back in person as well, maybe I'd have different opinions. I don't know, because we're hearing the sound, we're not feeling the guitar and everything. But I think the fact that I picked number 1 this week and last week we were so positive about it. You're right. It's such good praise, isn't it, for these affordable guitars? It's so great that they even stand up. It's really impressive.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's what it is. It's impressive.
In fairness, this shouldn't really have a chance. You should.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wonder if everyone in the chat would go into a store and play both of them. Would this just not even compare? Because I think they do. I think the Road Series in the last couple of years, especially, have a lot going for them. And anybody who thinks you have to spend $4,000 on a Martin to get something good, no, I won't even have an argument with you. It's not right. They make a lot of good stuff.
I've done it, and I told you last week on the show. I went to a place in Long Island, and I went in the Taylor room, and the guitar I preferred the most was one of the 100 or 200 series guitars, which is they're really like considered the student editions. It happens. Like you do go to a store and pick up 2 guitars, and you end up being really drawn to a guitar which isn't in that higher price. I think that's a good thing. It's a positive thing. And sure. I think a lot of people on your website may not go for that. I think it's great we've done that this week to prove that. And we didn't set out to do that. I kind of wanted the 28 to blow this away because I have a 28. But I got to admit, in a few of those examples, I initially was drawn to the sound of this one. So I think it's impressive. I really do. I still love this guitar. Got no problem with it. I really like it. But I think I love these tests because it really reveals a lot of the preconceived ideas that we can have as a music fan, as a gear fan. Sometimes it's about the name on the headstock or where it's made or what it's made from, and that's not really the important. I mean, it's important, but it's not everything. All right.
Guilty too. Sometimes I'll watch a concert on Access TV, and you'll see 3 guitar players playing. You'll see the amps behind them. I'm like, yeah, and then you realize a couple seconds later that's not that amp, and you're like, oh, well, but I like Mesa Boogie. But you think it's reinforcing what you've already liked, so you're like, we're on the same team. Not always,
Oh, there was a story last week. Famous band. I can't think of the band. Famous band was playing on a big stage, and the guitarist was playing a Squire Strat. There you go. It's exactly the same. Genesis, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Of course, my first thing I thought was, did Fender kind of set that up to get people talking about their affordable instruments, blah, 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 blah. But again, a show like we did today proves that maybe they didn't, because it was the opposite, right? So it's good. It's good. I like it. All right, let me just read through the last comments and we'll wrap up. I've got to go and get Get ready for the rain. Some striking wood. I love the back. I would buy that guitar just for the back. Just flip that around again. It's just really stunning. Look at that. The back is better than the front, and that's cool. Wrong all the time. Laminated Zero Code is better than rosewood. I had the perfect guitar. Everything was nice and how I always had imagined it. The color, the wood, the grain, the neck, the pickup, the nut, the bridge, the inlays, the price, etc., etc. Then I woke up.
Oh, we said that.
It's true. I think Kooky was on here one week saying, basically saying that I have a sound in my head, and that's the sound I expect. And I'm guilty of that. I do that a lot with electric guitar. I sometimes I can't get that. The electric guitar tone doesn't sound like it should, but I watch videos of other players, like famous musicians with isolated guitar sounds, and then nothing like the sounds I'm getting. That is not the sound. I've made the sound in my head. And I want to say this. Started playing this restaurant again. And last week, the first gig back, I got asked to turn down. Okay, it really annoyed me. I'm like, we've just come back after a lockdown, all this pandemic stuff, and you want me to turn it down? I thought, okay, so I went back the week after, and I thought, I wonder if they want me to turn it down, or if it was something else. So I put my wireless system on. I walked to the back where they were sitting, and it wasn't loud at all, but it was very thin sounding, because they have small speakers up there. And I thought, I bet it wasn't the volume that was bugging them. They were either just being rude, which can happen, as you know, or it was that harshness of the tone. So I went back to the thing and I turned the treble down. I readjusted the EQ, went back and listened again. I made it sound more kind of round and warmer. And I thought, I bet if they come back tonight, they wouldn't say that. I bet that was the problem. And I also realized how when you get your ideal sound from your speaker, when you plug it into the venue sound, sometimes it can be horrible at the back.
Sure.
So it's really a great idea to get a wireless system and walk around the venue and try to get a compromise where your tone is good all around the venue, not just where you are. Because what's the point of having an amazing sound on stage and then the people at the back of the restaurant, it sounds terrible. So yeah, that was quite an eye opener. So 28 is beautifully boomy. Careful when recording because might be too much for a busy mix. I agree. That's why we use the low cut. That is your friend when you're doing mixing and can be on stage as well. Robert says, I have yet to find a guitar that's perfect in every way, but my 0018V comes damn close. Yeah. I don't think there's any perfect instrument. I don't think any instrument can do everything we want perfectly. But there are those instruments that get really close, and I think they're the ones we hang on to. Jim says, so much for dovetail versus Morse and tenon.
Where's dovetail or die when you need them, right?
Well, no, I definitely believe that the 28 has a boomier, bigger sound. But I almost think that was a bit too much. Did you change the strings on these two? Because you've had that GPC-28 for a bit longer, I know. Are they the original strings on there? I wonder if they're a bit older.
I don't think I changed either one of these. The 28e might have been changed more recently to match up to this one, but I didn't change these.
Okay. No, these ones, no. I meant the 28e. Okay. Yeah, I don't know.
Not for this video, but since I've had it, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Alan says, no, the Genesis guy bought the guitar in lockdown and fell in love with it. There you go. I guess that's the moral. That's the moral of this week's episode. Then, don't be a snob. If you find an instrument you love, then stay with it. Yeah. And the ironic thing with these Zero Cody guitars is they look so. I used the word expensive earlier. Like the back of them looks so expensive and classy. You'd almost expect that to be on the 28 instrument, wouldn't you? It's all a bit of a mind game this week. Okay. All right. So, subscribe, ring the bell. I'm getting close to 10K. I won't keep on about it after I hit 10K, but I want to hit 10K. So subscribe, ring the bell, share with your friends, please. This week, I'm going to do a follow-up interview on Saturday at 2 o'clock EST with this company. So you can come and ask them your questions about earplugs.
Ah, nice.
I won't make a joke, Maury, about earplugs and your playing.
Okay.
I won't do that this week. Do you wear earplugs when you play in the band?
I do not.
Ah, so maybe it's time.
It probably is
time.
time. Kidding aside, I watched your video and it's a reminder. I don't think about that at all until after, you know, this gig was okay outside, but inside sometimes you go home and it's ringing, and my bass player would often say he has a sound hangover from, you know, the cymbals and stuff.
We
That's
joke
a very
about
serious
it.
topic.
We joke about
it's
it.
no joke. And
Yeah.
I watched your video and I was, you know, sort of involved for a few minutes. I thought I should just, you know, watch, like, shut up and watch this. This matters. And the more I watch, I thought, how many years do you just not care and you're going to get hurt?
Get this app. It's called DB Meter. And do me a favor, next time you play out, turn it on at some point during the gig and see what the level is. It's really interesting stuff. And it's also interesting stuff as a guitar, even like a guitar fan, acoustic fan. See how loud your guitar is. Like, compare volumes. I might do that in a future review. If I compare two guitars in the future, I might use the volume meter to show people the actual levels I'm getting. And then just remember that those levels can still be dangerous, even though it's just an acoustic guitar. So
That's hard to believe, but it's true.
It's kind of, I know it's a bit, dare I say, boring and not why we're watching videos. I'm sure if I had a new John Mayer guitar, it'd be much more exciting than talking about hearing loss. And the last thing I want to do when I play music is to put something in my ears like this. I don't want to. But I also don't want to lose my hearing one day. And I thought it was important to tell people about the issue, at least, just to remind people. And even if you're going, like I said, if you are going to a concert, sometimes the band sounds better with these. That's not a joke. Sometimes the band sounds better because the sound is more controlled. You're not just getting blasted by sound. You can still feel it. If you wear these to a concert at Madison Square Garden, you'll still feel that bass from the subs in your body, but the sound won't be blowing your head off and you won't wake up with ringing in your ears. So I thought it was important to cover that. So join me Saturday at 2 o'clock EST to talk with the creator of these and ask questions about how they work and why we should wear earplugs in general. That'd be great. Sunday is my Halloween special, spooky Halloween special. I've had a little break from Sundays. I'm back on this Sunday with Halloween songs, or some Halloween songs. Before we go, what's your schedule, Maury? Where can people find out more about these guitars?
Well, tomorrow is the Maury's Music Podcast drops again on Apple Podcasts, Google, Stitcher, all that stuff. Wednesday, we're back with episode 78, a virtual tour of our Martin and Blue Ridge guitars on YouTube at 4 p.m. And then Thursday, Martin versus Martin returns. Clayton and myself were on YouTube or Facebook at 6 p.m. on Maury's Music, and that's my week.
Good stuff. And we're back again next Monday. Let us know what guitar we should do. Send us your pictures and videos for the show. I think Maury might have got the Earth guitar in stock. I'm not sure, but perhaps we'll do one of those. If not,
maybe get Robert involved maybe.
That'd be great. If not, then we're going to do humidity either next week or the following. I think that's again, not the most fun subject to talk about, but really important stuff. I think it's important to balance things out and cover that as well, just so we don't forget. So we don't forget about it. Here's the address. Send us pictures and videos to say hi at aaronshortmusic.com. Thanks for joining us. Really appreciate it as always. It's always a great time, and I still learn something every week, even though I've been doing this for a while now. And today really has surprised me in a good way. It's been a good thing. So, Maury, thanks for your time. I really appreciate it. I'll see you soon, buddy. And enjoy your week. Stay dry, everyone.
You too.
All right. Bye-bye.